There's been a lot of talk about sorcery foil prices being insane. I want to talk about why that demand exists. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today I'm going to aim to answer this question: why the high prices for sorcery foils and even sometimes non-foil singles? I want to start off by saying I'm extremely biased, and I'm going to share why I'm biased at the end of the video. I'm going to show off some of the cards I have. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. That I am heavily into sorcery. I love sorcery. I just want to give you my perspective of why the high prices exist today, and I'd love to hear your conversations, your comments in the comment section below. I also want to start off by saying if you're looking to finish out a set or build a deck, I do have a singles website available at gamegrove.gg, of which we're opening another 24 boxes this week to sell non-foil singles out of. So I want to have a conversation about intentional scarcity versus artificial scarcity, because I've heard a lot of conversations on the open dialogues and on the Facebooks and whatever about, man, it's so hard to get the cards, artificial scarcity, blah, blah, blah. And we see this all the time with indie TCGs. We see this all the time when we're talking about that. And here's the reality. It is not artificial scarcity or artificial demand that is driving the value of these cards. We see a Philosopher's Stone right now, foil on eBay at $6,500. It is not artificial scarcity that is creating the demand for that. It is intentional scarcity that is creating the demand for that. This game, Sorcery, was created to be collectible. It was created to have that nostalgic, hard to pull, collectible feel to it. And it will be difficult for you to get cards and to get a full set, and that is the point. This is not Magic the Gathering where every card is kind of worthless. Foils are kind of basically the same price as non-foils, and when you open up a booster box, you lose the vast majority of your money. That is not the point of the game. The game is created and has been designed and crafted to be collectible, and collectible means scarcity. They have printed, first off, I want to start off by saying it was printed to demand. This set was printed to the demand of the Kickstarter, but the way that they created the box gave that demand extra incentive to be open and extra, excitement. So I wanted to start that off. The game was created to be collectible, but, and this is for the players, I do think that the game did a great job, that Sorcery and the team did a great job of offsetting that collectability by allowing the gameplay to first and foremost be a little bit more casual. The game is created to be a little bit more casual than this like high competition. Yeah, I'm sure that will happen in the future, but the initial game is created to be a little bit more casual. And then on top of that, they added in this rarity formula of which you can only have one of each unique. So if your uniques are $50, you don't have to get a playset of 4 of them, you just need one of them for your deck. And that's a really, really cool mechanic. The elites, if elites are 15 to 20 bucks, you only need 2 of them for your deck, you don't need 4. Exceptionals 3 and ordinaries at 4. I think that's a really, really smart way to allow the game to be collectible, but keep the game at least somewhat level-headed in terms of a price to play. And I think that's super important. Then the other side of that is it's more casual. So if your friend is playing a deck with a bunch of cores in it, you can be like, hey man, can you just like throw in some different cards and not play with the cores? And it should be acceptable in your play group to do that, kind of like Commander. So I wanted to talk that way about intentional scarcity versus artificial and scarcity. They created this to be a collectible game, and that's what was sold during the Kickstarter. That's what people got excited for. That's a really important distinguishing. Secondly, I want to talk about the demand that originated with the Kickstarter. 6,000 plus people hopping in and showing demand for the game. Now, I fully believe that a chunk of those people, you could probably say up to half of them, I'm sure people who are listening on the other side of this video, I'm sure you maybe believe up to half of those people didn't actually care about Sorcery. They were just involved for the flipping and for the tendies. Frankly, I think that less people we're in, now that we're seeing box prices not crash and people not flipping, if you were involved in the Kickstarter in order to flip this, you are crazy for not selling at 700% returns right now. You are crazy, and frankly, this is why the market's starting to, flatten out at that $700 box price, because people are probably, if you're flipping, you're now coming to the market to sell boxes, and that's kind of what's happening. But the demand originated with a 6,000 person interest in the game. And some of your biggest indie TCGs on the market right now have between 17 and 25,000 players. And so to start off an indie TCG with 6,000 people interested in and excited is a crazy phenomenon that we have not seen happen in the world. We have not seen this. We've not seen an indie TCG start off with 6,000 people interested ever. Even in the pandemic, we didn't see that. This is the one, I guess, from the pandemic that we've seen it. So that kind of demand is crazy, and that's what's funneling and creating some of this interest in the game, especially on the higher end foil side. Because if you have 6,000 people who are interested in the cards, put this into perspective, unique non-foils, the population of the card that's printed is 3,500 cards. So, your Philosopher's Stone, there's I think it's 3,000 to 3,500. I don't know the exact numbers. Check out Wizard's Den on YouTube for the exact numbers, but it's between 3,000 and 4,000 individual unique cards. So if the demand is 6,000 people want to play the game and collect the game and whatever, there's not enough unique non-foils for every person to have one of every card. So you see why the prices kind of go up, because if people actually like the game and actually enjoy looking at the cards and collecting them, then they want to complete a set, and there's not enough sets for everybody. And that creates demand then for beta. This is why beta is sold out at GameGrove.gg, or sold out. I can't even sell you beta now, it's just alpha singles. And so that's why this demand exists even for non-foils. And it gets crazy. This is where it gets really crazy with the unique foils. Unique foils, the population of the printed card is 250. And there are a bunch of people who are interested in the card at $600, at $300. That kind of increases. If you like the game, you might think a unique foil, you might say, man, I'd pay $150 for that. But there's 300 people who would pay $350 for it. And there's only 250 cards. So the value of the card just goes up as a result until it hits that threshold where the demand doesn't exist for a card at $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever it ends up being for that specific card, and that's where we're seeing that. So here are my personal thoughts. That's kind of the kind of more edgy conversation to try to filter. There's been a lot of people kind of frustrated about the price of the game. I'm not surprised that the singles prices are doing what they are. Box prices I thought would come down. I thought there would be a window to buy boxes at $250 to $300. That window did not exist ever. It did not exist. Really, $500 was the way to buy boxes. So that was kind of those. Now this is my personal thoughts. That's kind of the facts of what was happening with Sorcery. Here are my personal thoughts and my personal targets for collecting. I wanted to share some with you. Number one, I think the what are they calling it? The Alchemy 9 is insane, and I kind of frankly hate that every TCG has their Power 9 from Magic the Gathering. It's a little too blatant for me, but that's just the world we live in. That's what people do, and it's been accepted. So the Alchemy 9 is crazy. I did pick up, I traded for it, and I was happy to trade for this foil Philosopher's Stone this past week. And really excited. Look at the backside. Oh, the artwork. I know. I just don't want to touch it by myself. So the Alchemy 9, obviously things that people are going to really want a non-foil set, and then some people will be able to get a foil set of the Alchemy 9. There's the mixes are part of the Alchemy 9. Really cool. And then of course the cores finish out the Alchemy 9. I guess technically the mixes finish out the Alchemy 9. You guys know me, I like the mixes better than the cores. I think those are going to be cards that people want to have a set of 9 of them, especially if you love Sorcery. There will be flippers and investors who just want to turn them and think they're going to go up in value. But if you are a fan of Sorcery and you want to collect the game, even if you can't afford to do a full non-foil set with every Frank Frazetta artwork and every single, whatever. I think there will be people who just say, well, I got the 9 core, I got the Alchemy 9, and that's really exciting for me, and I'm excited about that. I think that's cool. It's like a little mini subset that people will be really interested in. And those prices, I mean, like, again, there's only 250 of the foil and like 3,000 of the non-foil. And so, like, I just don't know, that demand's going to be huge. The second one are the avatars. I think the avatars have huge potential. I actually am excited to grade the avatars. I think grading the avatars is going to be crazy because they don't go on a deck, they go on the table. You can play with your graded avatar that kind of protects it. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to doing. And I hope to have a full graded set of all the avatars where when we're here playing games in the background and stuff, I can just pull down the avatar and play with a foil avatar. I think that's going to be a really, really cool thing to be able to do. To be able to play with graded cards has always been one of my favorite things with the indie TCGs, where you have different things that aren't actually in the decks. And I think that's going to go a long, long way. And then the last thing that I personally am targeting, so your Alchemy 9, which is kind of the obvious one, the avatars, which I feel like is a little bit less obvious to people in terms of like where you will see some significant value as a result of being able to play with the cards. But then the foil sites, and I think the sites are just so unique to Sorcery, that this will be kind of one of the iconic things that people, I saw somebody post a binder picture. They're like, this is my favorite binder picture of all time. And it was all sites. And I think that's going to be a really cool thing for Sorcery, to have these different cards that are sideways and landscape and the beautiful artwork. I think is going to be iconic. And again, I just think there's going to be people who want to collect almost like a subset and say, okay, I'm going to get all of the sites and have a binder full of sites. I just think that's going to be another thing that people get interested in. So from a collector perspective, man, I'm just really excited about this game. I think it's a lot of fun to look into and evaluate and to play with and to collect. And then, don't get me wrong, game's a ton of fun to play. Go check out my gameplay video from last week. We're working on 2 new decks. We're going to have a Pathfinder deck, Pathfinder and a Battle Mage deck that we're going to go head to head with. Hopefully this weekend I'll record those and get that out there for you. And then we're going to do like a budget build, which is going to be ordinaries with just a few exceptionals. And we'll actually have those decks for people too. So if you missed out on Alpha, you didn't pick up the cards, we're going to actually have cheap decks that you can pick up that are ordinaries and exceptional only, that will ship to you, and you can play some games, and you'll see us play the games with the decks, and it'll be a really easy way for you to do it. So if you're interested in singles, go to gamegrove.gg. Let me know all your thoughts. What did I miss from a collector perspective? I know there's a lot of Frank Frazetta art fans. They're going to be frustrated that I didn't say anything about Frank Frazetta. I don't know. Frazetta just, it's not iconic to me. I'm not that old. So have yourselves a great day. Be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again next video.